Hey everybody, this is Scott Wankivowitz. Today I want to talk about 3 ways to expose for clouds. Now why? Well, if you're photographing a landscape, you've got a horizon line where everything below the horizon line is the ground, maybe some water, maybe trees, whatever it is. And what's above the horizon line is the sky with clouds. And with one frame in your camera, typically your camera cannot gather exposure for both the sky and what's below the sky. So here are 3 things you can do to expose for clouds. The first way, masking. So basically you're going to take an exposure, one frame of everything exposed below the horizon line. So the grass will be perfectly exposed. Then you're going to take another frame of everything above the horizon line. So the sky and the clouds are perfectly exposed. Then in software like On1 Software's Perfect Mask, or in Photoshop, or any software that you own that can do masking, you will actually take that frame, the first frame you shot, where everything below the horizon line is exposed, and you will put the other frame with everything above the horizon line exposed below the first frame in a different layer, and then you will mask out the sky in the first frame. And what that'll do is it will reveal the clouds perfectly exposed that's below it. So that's the first way, masking. Second way, sort of a take on masking, but it's another technique called HDR. Basically, you're exposing multiple frames to gather the dynamic range of the scene, the entire dynamic range of the scene. You can do this with 3 frames, 5 frames, 7 frames, 9 frames, however many it needs for that scene. And then using software like Photomatix or Nick Software's HDR Effects Pro or even Photoshop, you actually merge those into one image, and then you will actually do the adjustments to make that photograph the way that you envisioned it in your head. Now, I'm not going to go too much into HDR because there's my friend Trey Ratcliffe has a fantastic tutorial on it, so I highly recommend checking that out. I will link to it as well. There's a free tutorial and a paid tutorial. The last way that you can expose for clouds involves no software. Yes, no software. You can do it with one frame in your camera using a neutral density filter. So what I have right here is a Lee filter system. You can see here, this is the bracket for the Lee filter system. And then I have the filter in here that slides up and down. And then this can actually be rotated on the camera. You'll notice that the filter is actually dark right here. As I push it up, it's actually transparent. So what this does is that it allows you to align your camera, or align the filter, so that the dark part is actually above the horizon line, and the transparent part is below the horizon line. And what that allows you to do, basically, a neutral density filter is cutting out light. It's blocking light from going through the lens. So you can actually expose for both the clouds, the sky, and what's below the horizon line in one shot. Depending on how dense, how thick your neutral density filter is, you can do this fairly easily. So there's 3 different ways that you can do this. And by the way, I'm not going to go too much into neutral density filters. If you are interested in learning more about them, check out my ebook, Time is on Your Side. It's talking about long exposure photography, and more specifically using neutral density filters for long exposure photography. So check that out. So I just talked about 3 ways you can expose for the clouds. One is masking, another is HDR, and the third, graduated neutral density filters. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, let me know. See you soon.